If you watched my last episode on hybrids, then you probably understand that most hybrids have a high voltage battery pack and some rather large electric motors, but they still can't drive as electric cars. However, there are several aftermarket companies producing products which will turn a Prius or any hybrid like this into a plug-in hybrid. Some of the more popular brands are High Motion, Plug-in Supply, Plug-in Conversions Corp, Engineer, and Toyota will be producing their own in 2012. They've already been showing off prototypes for a while now. So these are the only options available right now. There are considerable differences in these different models and what features they have. Plug-in conversions, or PIC, is considered the holy grail of these, as their system will allow the Prius to drive up to 70 miles per hour in all electric mode and can go about 25 miles on a charge. However, it comes with a hefty price tag starting at $12,500. However, I prefer the Engineer system because it has several unique features. One thing is that it works with any hybrid, not just the Prius. It is also the only kit that you can order and install yourself. And the best thing about it is it is by far the cheapest of these systems, starting at a price of $19.95. Okay, the only thing that really distinguishes this Prius on the outside that it's a plug-in hybrid is that you have this little charge plug here on the back. But what's different is on the inside. Now this actually looks pretty much like a regular Prius back here as well, but what's different is underneath the cargo area floor you have a plug-in kit. Inside this box are a lot of batteries. So let's take a look inside. Over here we have two new controls. The switch here turns the Engineer kit on and off and also has two indicator lights showing the status of the system. This button labeled EV will essentially turn the Prius into an electric car and allow it to drive on electric power only, with certain limitations, which I'll get into later. Above the steering wheel, you'll see an embedded scan gauge 2 that's been configured to display various useful bits of information, such as battery amps and volts. Everything else in the car is just like a regular Prius. So, what's it like to drive one? Well, there are three modes of operation: regular hybrid mode, all electric mode, and blended mode. Regular hybrid mode. So first there's regular hybrid mode, and basically that's with the system off, and it's just like driving a regular hybrid, in this case a Prius. The car drives exactly like any Prius out there on the road when the system is shut off, or in the event that the battery runs down in your plug-in kit, or if the unlikely circumstance that your plug-in kit malfunctions and shuts off, the car will essentially operate in normal hybrid mode, and that is just like we're driving right now. It's a normal regular Prius, and we're probably going to get 45 to 50 miles per gallon, which is typical to a regular Prius. All electric mode. Alright, I'm going to show you how EV mode works. In this mode, I'm going to turn the car on, and I'm going to hit the EV mode button over here. And that's pretty much going to put the car in electric vehicle mode. And I'm going to take off. And I'm pretty much going to drive down the road in electric vehicle mode, and the other cars on the road around me pretty much are going to have no idea that we're driving as an electric car, because we look just like any other Prius out there on the road. Now, there are some limitations I wanted to tell you about driving in EV mode with Engineer system. You can only do about 34 miles per hour in electric vehicle mode. If you go any higher than that, it'll kick you out of electric mode and into regular blended mode. Now, a lot of people may be asking, well, what's the point if you can only go 34 miles per hour? Well, in my city, most of the speed limits in town are 30 miles an hour to begin with. So I can drive that speed, and I can actually take my daughter to school and go all the way to work and back in electric mode without ever really turning the gasoline engine on. However, some of the other kits that I've briefly mentioned do have the ability to go faster than that. Of course, you have to pay a lot more money to get one of those kits. Blended hybrid mode. But let's talk about blended mode. Now, blended mode is where basically you're driving on both gasoline and electric power from your plug-in system. Now, when you do that, your gasoline engine is going to run, and you're going to have the full benefit of all of the speeds and driving modes available on the vehicle. But you're going to be getting enhanced fuel economy because of the fact that the batteries are still going to be pumping a lot of excess power into the Prius's electrical system. And the computer is going to shut the engine on and off as it sees fit when you're driving around in town. Now, any regular Prius does that to begin with, but when you have the plug-in kit, the engine is going to spend a lot more time in the off mode or in the idling mode while the car will be drawing power from the plug-in system. And it's not unusual for me to get anywhere from 60 to 80 miles per gallon driving in blended mode at any speed. For example, you can see here that I've gotten 64.1 miles per gallon over the last 93 miles of blended driving. I'd also like to offer up this little chart. Consider the following. You want to drive from point A to point B. Let's say it's 40 miles. In a regular Prius, if you drive all of that distance on gasoline, you'll get roughly 50 miles per gallon during that trip. Now, what if we take the same trip and split it up? My Engineer kit can drive 20 miles in EV mode before running out of power. So I could drive 20 miles in electric, followed by 20 miles on gasoline. In this scenario, I'd get 100 miles per gallon on that trip. But my kit can also provide 40 miles of blended mode driving. So if I took the same trip in blended mode for the entire 40 miles, I'd still get 100 miles per gallon. And the benefit is, you have no limitations when driving in this mode. Payback. One of the common questions I get asked a lot about converting to plugins is, will the system pay for itself? Is there any financial payback? And that's a complicated question. Sometimes yes, especially if gas prices are really high, such as in Europe. It may be possible for the modification to actually pay for itself and then some. However, the truth is, with prices as they are in the United States right now, you're probably never going to see a complete and full payback. But I have to look at it like this. How many modifications do other people do to their vehicles that pay for themselves? Let's put it in perspective. Did this guy's modification pay for itself? No? What about this one? Or this one? How about that one? No? Well, did anyone ever ask any of these people if their modification would pay for itself? I doubt it. And even though it's possible that you may see some payback, especially even the residual value on the car, I wouldn't go into it with the expectation that it's going to pay for itself. Unless, of course, gas prices shoot up well over $4 or $5 a gallon in the United States.